Like the infamous Sukhoi Su-47 Berkut, today we have another engineering masterpiece that, just like the former, fell into an unfortunate destiny and never got the chance to enter the production lineup. If you carry a general interest in aerial warheads, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about none other than the YF-23 Black Widow II. So, if this is your first time on the channel, do consider subscribing for more exciting and informative content and hit like so we know you guys want to see more of such videos. With that out of the way, let's get to the cake. Through the eyes, even a blind man would say that the Black Widow strikes something unique and stealthy compared to other war aircraft. The YF-23 was never made to be a conventional aircraft. Talk about stealth capability or its up-to-date avionics, its build was made invincible against any deadly aircraft and enabled it to stand its ground. With everything positive and significant about this military asset, what was the reason that it never got into production and remained unaccepted by the Air Force? To add a bit of general knowledge for the viewers who are unaware, Black Widow was never actually the name given, but rather, it was given to its prototype. It was initially a charcoal gray plane with a red hourglass marking resembling the marking of the underside of a Black Widow Spider, named Prototype Air Vehicle 1, PAV-1, but soon they were nicknamed. The second prototype was painted in two shades of gray and nicknamed Spider and Gray Ghost. The YF-23 was made by joint efforts from McDonnell Douglas and Northrop Grumman, a twin-engine single-seater fighter jet from the fifth generation built for stealth technology demonstrator by the USA. It is essential to note that this was a time when the USA and Russia were head-to-head in terms of the Air Force. To begin with the timeline of the YF-23, we go back to 1978, when American reconnaissance planes noticed the Soviet Union practicing and exhibiting their Su-27 and MiG-29 fighter prototypes. Ultimately, this prompted a series of reactions, resulting in the stealth fighter programs by the USA. The time frame between 1983 and 1985 is still considered the most crucial and notable in USAF history. The USAF sent proposals to multiple aerospace organizations for an advanced tactical fighter aircraft. After a series of proposals, shortlists, and a few hiccups rooted from the U.S. Navy exposing their need for a replacement to their F-14 Tomcat, the production of two prototypes was set into gear. Lockheed, Boeing, and General Dynamics joined forces to start the production of their prototype. The Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor, aka YF-22, and in competition, Northrop and McDonnell Douglas formed a team and began their project, the Northrop YF-23. After a grilling 4-year span of trial, test, and whatnot, both parties were ready with their respective prototypes. This is where the story brings in its juices. Design-wise, the F-22 Raptor by Lockheed Martin was poles apart from its competitor, the YF-23 Black Widow II. The YF-23 featured a trapezoidal wing shape. It was made entirely according to the requirements posed by the U.S. Air Force. The reason behind this unconventional and eerie profile was to provide the aircraft with enough with the white combing area rule to reduce aerodynamic drag, which becomes a massive problem at transonic speeds. The all-moving V-tail had its use as well. It was not only for looks to make it stealthily, the all-moving V-tail serves as a stabilizer to give plenty of longitudinal stability, control, and stick force requirements. And if that wasn't simply enough, look at the cockpit that is evident just how much thought and back-end design took place. It was placed high near the nose of the aircraft for good visibility for the pilot. Its most important assets were its survivability, supercruise, stealth, and on top of that, its easy maintenance. It's challenging to keep our cars maintained and running. We can only imagine how difficult and expensive running a maintenance check on a military aircraft is. That too, when a single part alone costs thousands of dollars. Although the cost of the YF-23 is not public, the price of a single Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor is estimated at $334 million, which includes research and development. while the price of a single unit is $150 million. Whew, that's a lot, guys. Think what I could do with that much money. One thing which I would like to tell you guys here is that what a lot of people don't know about. Northrop Grumman started this project with an upper hand. Northrop had already been a leading part of the B-2 Spirit program and FA-18 Hornet, which allowed him to have much better knowledge of stealth and how it works in a high-end military aircraft. Simply having this piece of knowledge helped him in being 2 steps ahead of Lockheed and their partners Boeing and General Dynamics. Ultimately, their product, YF-23, was a better aircraft. Still confused with the same question we raised in the beginning? Let me drop a few grains of the story. Near the end of the 4-year mark, the YF-23 met with a slight setback. In 1987, the U.S. Air Force decided to change the length of their runways and extended it up to 3,000 feet, 910 meters. Previously, the size of their runways was set to 2,000 feet, 610 meters. This length was also the requirement provided by the USAF for the prototype. This meant that the aircraft needed to stop as soon as a touchdown. To aid this phenomenon, manufacturers use thrust reversers, which do exactly what they're named after. Thrust reversers provide thrust opposite to the plane's direction, allowing it to decelerate and stop as soon as possible. This, in turn, prolongs the life of brakes. Because of this new implementation, aircrafts now had 1,000 feet extra to land and decelerate, ultimately resulting in thrust reversers no longer needed. By design, thrust reversers are located beneath the engines located on either side of the aircraft, both wings if it's a twin-engine model. As the aircraft's wings were free of the thrust reversers, this allowed the plane to have smaller engine nacelle housings. Here comes the exciting part of the YF-23 story. On 22nd of June 1990, YF-23's first prototype Air Vehicle 1, PAV-1, was launched carrying serial number 87-0800 as mentioned in the beginning. After a 50-minute-long trial up in the air, the USAF performed their analytics, and on the 27th of August, it sent for some changes in the flight control system. Now, speaking of the question, if it's simply so good, why reject it? Talking about the aircraft's bodily assets, the Black Widow 2 had better stealth compatibility, super maneuverability. Still, it lacked slightly to its competition, which ended up being the deciding factor: agility. The F-22 proved to score better points in agility, and YF-23 lost by a slight margin. Agility, being the decider, also decided the fate of Northrop's product. And you already know what was decided. The F-22 was selected to continue its production for the USAF, and Northrop and McDonnell had to return empty-handed even after manufacturing 2 prototypes, Black Widow 2 and Grey Ghost. But wait, I have some hope for you Black Widow 2 fans out there. No guys, not the Black Widow from Marvel Universe. According to some Air Force experts, they still believe that this project is not closed. In 2004, according to reports, it was told that the YF-23 is stepping towards revival. It was known that Northrop Grumman had proposed a YF-23-based bomber to the USAF after they expressed the need for an interim bomber. And surprisingly, they were competing for the spot against Lockheed once more. But in 2006, we lost the possibility of a YF-23 making a comeback as the interim bomber after the Quadrennial Defense Review favored a long-range bomber. Unfortunately, YF-23 couldn't fill the shoes. Moreover, according to sources, it's speculated that the YF-23 can be the 6th-generation U.S. fighter jet, or with some specific advancements, the U.S. would sell its aircraft to the Japanese after Northrop Grumman showed interest in hopping on Japan's project of manufacturing the 5th/6th-gen fighter jets domestically. Who knows, in a few years, we might see YF-23 test runs broadcasted worldwide. With that said, I would like to end this video where we discussed one of the deadliest fighter jets ever made, but unfortunately, due to a few shortcomings, couldn't make the cut. If you like this video, make sure that you don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button, and while you're down there, do consider pressing the bell icon, which will notify you every time we bring you a new video. Like this video if you want to see more of such content in the future. Comment down below which fighter jet you think is a competitor to the YF-23, and we'll catch you guys soon. Goodbye!